Well, my sweet one, if there's one thing I've learned in my many years, it's this: avoid debts at all costs. Oh, I know debt might seem like a harmless thing at first, something that gets you the things you want right now, but I can promise you it's not as innocent as it seems. When I think back to the early years of my marriage to Tom, I remember a time when we were both so eager to live life to the fullest that we didn't think twice about using credit cards, loans, and other forms of debt to make things happen. We thought we had everything under control, but before we knew it, the weight of those debts started to drag us down. Tom and I spent years paying off mistakes we made with money, and I tell you, nothing could have been more stressful than that. We were young and excited about our future together, but we weren't prepared for the financial burden that would come with trying to live beyond our means. Now I'm older and wiser, and I want to pass on the lessons I learned from that experience. It's a hard truth, but here it is. Debt is a trap. It doesn't just drain your finances. It drains your peace of mind, your happiness, and your ability to live freely. Let me take you back to those early days with Tom. We were full of dreams and hope, but we didn't have the financial wisdom we needed to truly thrive. It wasn't until we found ourselves buried under debt that we realized how crucial it was to live debt-free. And it's something I wish someone had told us when we were starting out. But I'm here now to tell you, my dear, so listen closely. Let me share the story and the tips that can save you a lifetime of stress. Chapter 1: The beginning of our debt journey. When Tom and I got married, we didn't have much. We were young and just starting out. We rented a small apartment and lived on a modest income, but we were happy. At the time, we didn't have a lot of expenses and we didn't feel the need for much. But then came the pressures of adulthood, buying furniture, getting a car, taking vacations, and of course throwing that wedding party that we had dreamed of. We didn't have the money for all these things, but we had credit cards, loans, and the comforting illusion that we could pay it all off later. We'll make it work, we told ourselves. After all, we're young and we'll have time to pay it off. But what we didn't realize was that every time we made a purchase, we were digging ourselves deeper into a hole. Credit cards were the worst offenders. It started small, just a little charge here and there. But before long, the balances grew, and we found ourselves paying interest on things that we didn't even remember buying. We tried to pay it off each month, but life got in the way. Bills, groceries, emergencies, all those things seemed to take priority, and soon enough we were living paycheck to paycheck with no savings and too much debt. Looking back now, I can see how easy it is to slip into this kind of mindset. The credit card companies make it so tempting. Easy access to money, no immediate consequences. But the truth is, the interest and the fees pile up quickly. What you think is a simple purchase ends up costing you much more than you expected. Chapter 2: The Burden of Debt. I don't think Tom and I truly understood the weight of debt until we were deep in it. We would lie awake at night, worrying about how we would pay off our credit card bills and car loans. We were both working hard, but it always seemed like we were falling further behind. Every month felt like we were just scraping by. And when we did have extra money, it didn't feel like a victory. It felt like a temporary reprieve before the next bill arrived. We both had dreams, but those dreams started to feel impossible with the constant pressure of debt hanging over us. It affected everything: our relationship, our sense of security, and our overall happiness. We didn't know how to get out of the hole we dug, and the more we tried to pay off our debts, the more they seemed to grow. Here's the truth, dear. Debt doesn't just affect your finances. It affects your mental health, your relationships, and your ability to live fully. The weight of owing money to others is a heavy burden, one that takes away your peace and freedom. I remember one particular night when Tom came home from work looking exhausted. We were both drained emotionally and physically. The constant worry about money had taken its toll. He sat down and said, "Suzie, we need to make a change. This debt is ruining us." And that was the turning point. We both knew that we had to do something different, or we'd never be able to truly live. Chapter 3: The Turning Point: Deciding to Get Debt-Free. That night, we decided we weren't going to live this way anymore. We made a plan. We started by writing down every single thing we owed: credit cards, loans, the car, everything. It was a scary list to look at, but it was also eye-opening. The first step to getting out of debt is facing the truth about how much you owe. From there, we worked out a budget. We cut out anything unnecessary: dining out, entertainment, anything that wasn't essential. We set priorities. Our goal was simple: pay off the debt and do it as quickly as possible. It wasn't easy. There were sacrifices to be made, but it was worth it. Slowly but surely, we started to see the balances shrink. Every month, we paid a little more than the minimum payment. Every time we paid off one credit card, we focused on the next. It took time, but with persistence, we did it. We got out of debt, and the relief we felt was indescribable. Suddenly, we could breathe again. We weren't living paycheck to paycheck anymore. We had money to save, money to invest, and money to enjoy life with. And the best part? We had our peace back. Chapter 4: How to Avoid Debt in the First Place. Now that you know a bit of our story, let's talk about how you can avoid falling into the same trap we did. The smartest thing you can do is never accumulate debt in the first place. Here are some tips to help you live debt-free. Live below your means. I can't emphasize this enough. Don't live beyond your means just to keep up with the Joneses. It's so easy to get caught up in the lifestyle of others, but the truth is you don't need all the things they have. Focus on what matters to you and be content with what you can afford. That way, you won't be tempted to use credit to fill the gaps. Save for emergencies. Emergencies happen. Whether it's a car breaking down, a medical issue, or a job loss, having an emergency fund can prevent you from going into debt when life throws a curveball. Start saving as soon as you can, even if it's just a small amount. Over time, you'll build up a cushion that will give you peace of mind. Create a budget and stick to it. A budget is your best friend when it comes to money. It gives you control over your spending and helps you avoid unnecessary purchases. Track your income and expenses and be honest about where your money is going. By having a clear budget, you'll be able to avoid the temptation of overspending. Use credit wisely. If you do use credit cards, make sure you can pay off the balance in full each month. Don't rely on credit as a way to make purchases you can't afford. And always be aware of the interest rates. They can make a small purchase turn into a much larger debt over time. Avoid high-interest loans. Be cautious of payday loans, personal loans, and anything with high interest. These types of loans can trap you in a cycle of debt that's hard to break free from. If you can't afford something, wait until you can. Invest in yourself. One of the best ways to avoid debt is to make sure you're always improving your skills and earning potential. The more you invest in yourself, whether it's through education, training, or side gigs, the more likely you are to build wealth without relying on debt. Chapter 5. The Benefits of Living Debt-Free. Living debt-free isn't just about financial security. It's about living a life of freedom. When Tom and I paid off our debts, we felt like a weight had been lifted from our shoulders. We were no longer slaves to our credit cards or loans. We had control over our money, and that gave us a sense of peace we had never experienced before. We could take vacations without worrying about putting it on a credit card. We could save for the future without feeling guilty. We had the freedom to live the life we truly wanted, and that's a gift that money can't buy. And my dear, I want that for you too. The freedom that comes from living debt-free is priceless. It's a gift that keeps on giving, and it's something that will allow you to truly live your best life. Conclusion. Take control of your financial future. Debt may seem like a quick solution to get what you want right now, but it's a heavy burden that can last for years. Tom and I learned that lesson the hard way, but we also learned that with hard work, discipline, and a commitment to living below our means, we could break free from it. So, sweetie, take it from me. Avoid debt at all costs. It's not worth the stress, the worry, or the years it takes to pay it off. Focus on building a life where you're in control of your money, not the other way around. You deserve the peace and freedom that comes with being debt-free. Start today and you'll thank yourself later. With all my love, Grandma Suzie. Thank you, my dears, for spending this time with me. Remember, life's journey is better when we walk it together. If these stories and reflections warmed your heart, be sure to subscribe and join me for more wisdom, comfort, and a little sprinkle of joy. Together, let's keep growing one story at a time. Until next time, stay safe, stay hopeful, and remember, you're never alone. Grandma loves you.